Hey, Tej here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Hang Seng index futures. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave theory and provide multiple scenarios the price may take and explain why I prefer one count over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. So today again we're looking at the China's Hang Seng index, and this has been a very hot topic lately on the markets. So I thought, why would I not cover this as well, and you guys getting my opinion on it as well. So again, I'm going to start with this higher time frame Elliott Wave structures, and in here we're starting with a logarithmic scale and monthly time frame. In here I do see that we would have a possible 5-wave move into a supercycle A wave, ABC as an expanded flat 3 waves, and then 5 waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not really need to go too much too detail into this. If we are looking at, for example, the weekly time frame here, we can see that we have divergence at these lows here, so it is okay looking, at least on these higher time frames. Of course, this could be a WXY if we are looking at this on smaller time frames. I didn't bother going too much detail in there, as that is still something that does not really affect at the current price. The overall idea is that we are having this as an ABC here, and if we're looking at a non-logarithmic scale, it is still much of a possibility here, although the extensions here on logarithmic scale does not really hit too well, just around the 0.618. Again, the minimum we want to see. On logarithmic scale, of course, those are not hit that well. The next structure on weekly time frame I see is this one, ABC. C is of course very far out, and it is very much of almost at the maximum we want to see. 2.618 is the maximum we want to see for any zigzags, but again we are going to be favoring the impulse count downwards if we are taking out the 1.618 extension here. However, we did not get a 5th wave here, so we have to be saying that we had this as a 3-way structure. Since then, again, we had a possibility of having this as a 5-way structure into an A, 3-way pullback into B, and then again some kind of 5-way structure into C here. Again, it is not very clear and not good looking at all, this C wave. And I do acknowledge that we had a high here on RSI as well, on the daily time frames as well. So it is of course possible that we have had this whole structure as some kind of 3-way structures, and for example 3 waves, and then 3 waves like so, 3 waves and 3 waves. It is possible to label it like that, but again does not matter on the higher time frame overall market picture, where we would have this as a W and X wave at both of the scenarios, right? Now let's go to 1 day time frame, and this is the medium time frame, again having the X here at the highs of January 2018, which is the local high basically that we've had. Since then we've had a couple of different possibilities here for this structure over here. It is possible to label this as a expanding diagonal like so. However, again, these are less rare, these are less common than the WXY, so that's why I do prefer this, the way I've labeled this as a 3-way structure in here, 3 ways, 3 ways, 3 ways, and then 5 ways here. So yeah, that is the way I like to label this at the moment. Again, this would be ending a wave W of a cycle structure, and we are within a supercycle wave Y here. Of course, these labelings and the degrees that I have here could be shifted up and down 1 or 2 to cycle here of this structure, and all of these internal ones would be lowered 1 time again as well, but that doesn't really matter overall, right? It is just to give the perspective anyway that this is internal wave structure of this. Now, after we got this wave W here, I think we had a very good looking 5-way structure, a 3-way structure here as some kind of move. Of course, it could be labeled as, again, as a W, 3 waves, 3 waves, and then 3 waves. I don't mind it. Again, the pivot points are the same, W, X, and then looking for downwards pressure now. Now here on higher time frame, we have some targets that we've had. Let's go out of logarithmic scale for now. as we do see the structure is pretty good still here on daily time frame without the log. So in here we would look for the target of this W wave, of this wave Y, comparing it to wave W here. So again, pivoted from X, and we have these as the targets. 1.236 to 1.382 are the targets for this one. However, as wave W here on smaller time frame did take quite a bit longer, is making this a bit more different, because again we do have targets all the way down here at 9.5k, which is again a lot of movement down. However, again, I do think that we have a potential to end the counts here at 0.618. So that is again the minimum we want to see for any three-way move here. So let's take a look at the smaller time frames here. That what I got. Again, this was the X wave here, and now we would be looking for downwards. I do think that we might have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be a third of minor, fourth of minor. The only thing that I don't like about this wave 3 here, we could be labeling it here. It would be a bit odd looking, having this as a very small 3, 4, and 5 here. But again, otherwise we would not have alteration between these 2 degrees. So there is of course a possibility for that as well. Wave 4 could be also here to create some kind of alteration between wave 2 and 4 here. So maybe this is the way. Again, pivot points are still going to be remaining the same, starting this count from here, ending it here, and then we would have a, well, very impulsive look for that wave B. Again, we took out the lows of that structure, so we have to be labeling this as a three-way structure in any case. So yeah, that's that. Then we would be looking for the C wave of this intermediate structure that we would have here, and downwards we would go. We would have the lowest low here on RSI on 1 hour, or at these lows, which would make me think that this could be just a third or something, and we would be labeling this a bit later on these counts. However, again, it is not very clear how we're going to be labeling it. It would be possible that this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be fifth, at which again the fourth here would be getting all the way to the golden pocket retracement of this third wave, which is definitely not common. So that's why I had the third already in here, although we do have these lower RSI numbers here. On higher time frame, I think this is still the lowest here, around the 26th of September, giving us the possibility of having that as the third of third, and then we would be having RSI divergence between these next lows that we would be having. Now again, we had a pretty good looking far-away structure in here. This in most of the cases would fit the idea that we would have an equal length of fifth wave compared to the wave 1 here. However, we have already taken out the lows and impulsing downwards again. So it is most likely that this wave 5 is going to be extending. At this moment, I do think that we might be looking at larger extensions, just because again, if we are seeing this here, 1.618 was not tagged by the third wave here. So there are a couple of different ways to label this. At least I would be expecting one more low here to create this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. However, again, these structures are very similar in time and in price, so it is not that clear how we're going to be labeling this end here. And that is the actual key part, what we would be looking for. Again, we do still have that divergence from these, even on 1 hour time frame, so that is something to still keep in mind. At the moment, I do think that we might have this as some kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. So at least looking for one more low here. How are we going to be labeling this? If this is going to be the low, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Maybe this is again the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, it wouldn't have the right look, but again, it's not invalid. But for me, I feel like the extension should be had in here on the fifth wave, so this would be a wave. Let me label it So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and these would be some kind of subwave structures in here, and we would be getting some kind of extension here on the third of that fifth of that C wave here to complete something very, very much larger, complete the wave of primary, complete the wave Y of cycle wave, to complete the wave Y of super cycle. And that is very, very rare thing in the markets. As we see, we have already gone to the very lows here. We've never been this low on Hang Seng on monthly time frame on RSI. So this is definitely has a potential of being some kind of bottom to come soon-ish. Again, we need to be monitoring the wave structures in here, and even on smaller time frames, if you would be seeing a 5-way structure upwards, upwards from the lows, even a very odd-looking structure, even this one, I feel like, well, we had to have this as a 3-way structure like so. We need to go even smaller time frame to see this. Maybe this is another 3-way structure, not quite sure, but this could be formed into some kind of expanding diagonal if you would be willing to risk that much. But again, to me, I don't think that is finished here yet. I do think that we have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and possibly another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would be at least looking for this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this would be something like that, and then 4 and 5 to create this third still, and then 4th and 5th. So 2 more higher time frame lows is something that I'm actually looking at here. But of course, if we are getting a clear 5-way structure impulse here, then I would definitely be looking to enter the longs on the pullback. Of course, it could be just the wave 4 here, but at least at that point you would be getting ABC structure here, and profits to be taken at the 1-to-1 extension, right? So there are definitely interesting areas here to be looking for long setups on very much higher time frame. I'm going to be dollar cost averaging into this and taking my risk on smaller portions against most likely the let's see, the 1.618 here. I don't really want to see us going beyond this 1.618 around 10.8k. Of course, that is another massive drop here, another 30% almost. But again, this is the area I'm really interested in, dollar cost averaging where we are at now. Yeah, 1-to-1 of this higher time frame WXY would be around 12.2k. So that is definitely still around the same area-ish. If we go below the 1.618, then we need to be reassessing this whole thing again. But I feel like that is pretty much all I want to share on Hang Seng at this very moment. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Links to my free Discord server in the description below. And for now, I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.